And then we may play with a couple corrected, and then we'll probably go over a little more of our athlete programming and kind of see how the progressions work. Okay? All right, let's start this.
We should know. Let's do that next time. We write our schedule. Yeah.
Because it was interesting, Marco sent me their stuff from Equinox, and he said, oh, it's really actually pretty good, very comparable to what we do. But what I realized is that I still don't see enough people doing the FMS, and the excuse that people use is, I don't know how to do the FMS, I haven't taken the FMS course. That is not in my mind a valid excuse. The way that you will get really good at the FMS is to do the FMS. It is not at all hard to do. Other things to take note of. The client does not know the FMS. You could screw the whole thing up from start to finish. They will have no idea that you screwed every single one of the tests up. Okay? They're not going to look at you and go, oh, you let me deep squat, my toes turned out. Can't believe you did that, right? They don't have any idea. But the most important thing is one, as you do the FMS, you will get smarter. Trust me. You'll learn a ton. Every time you do it, you're going to learn something. So, and again, I've said this stuff over and over again. I don't want you to take a personal training client and not FMS them. And really as much for your own personal benefit, because I'll tell you, I can remember, Kevin used to come and watch FMSs. Like, can I watch you FMS somebody? And that's how you learn. And you learn by doing it. You learn by watching, thinking, okay, what does this mean? Even in the beginning. And it creates a dialogue for you with the client. That's really, really important. You start to learn something about the client. How do they actually move? Where are the areas that they're struggling with? Okay, that's really going to be important. And then, secondarily, it positions you as a real expert, because you're going to find out that there are certain things we're going to talk about that are incredibly obvious to us once you understand the FMS. They will not be at all obvious to the client. But the client, at the end of the process, is going to be like, you're a friggin' genius. Like, how did you figure all this stuff out? And you're going to be like, because I did these 6 tests and I looked at what happened and I realized I wrote notes on a piece of paper and it really wasn't that difficult to do. The good thing about FMS, and again, the FMS guys will probably watch this video if they do and be horrified at my analysis of the situation, but that's okay. One, I always say the FMS, I put a picture, well, actually.
That is probably the biggest thing is the more you do it and the more you watch people and how they move, you start to see these patterns and you start to see the kind of the overarching theme of like, yeah, everyone's a human, everyone has these certain conditions, and it's just
okay, this is the FMS. The FMS is a screen. Okay, have you ever done, right? Have you ever tried to separate rocks from dirt? Like when you're doing yard work and you think, okay, I want to get all the rocks out of the dirt. That's what the FMS does. Okay? You throw all the dirt and all the rocks in the screen, then you go like this. And when you're done, all you have is the rocks. FMS in a nutshell. All we're looking for is the rocks. We don't care about the dirt. The dirt goes right through, everything's good. What you're really worried about is the freaking boulder that's in there. Like, oh shit, that was a really big rock that I found in the process of doing the FMS. And the point is that when the client sees you do this, they're still, I mean, imagine someone watching you, just kind of screen dirt thinking, oh my God, like, you're a freaking genius, I can't believe you figured that out. It's like, yeah, I bought this piece of screen and I attached it to some 2x4s and put the dirt on it and shook it, and it works really good. Okay, it's the same exact process, except now you're dealing with, you've got kind of the Wizard of Oz factor going for you in terms of these people have no idea what's going on. Wizard of Oz out in theaters, that's 80 years today. And it is in theaters. You haven't seen the Wizard. How many people have not actually seen the Wizard of Oz in this group? Oh, that's really good. That's awesome news. I thought I'd get like half the end.
We're on there.
So, think, literally, in this state, people are like, it's just a screen. All it's going to do is give you a couple of things to work on with that particular client. Like, oh, they really suck at single leg stance. Okay, good. Oh, their rotary stability is hot. And I'll tell you, ankle mobility will be a problem. Rotary stability will be a problem. Single leg stance will be a problem. That will be every adult that you screen. Shoulder mobility probably be a problem. That'll be every adult that you screen. You won't be fascinated. And one of the reasons that I probably don't do it as much as I should at this particular stage in time is because I am fairly comfortable with what the outcomes are going to be when I'm doing this. So, deep squat, right? I mean,
okay. So we got another 5 minutes, but just to touch on that. So I love that analogy of the screening dirt and rocks. Like, to our point, that's all we're looking for is, as you go through these movements, does something hurt? If something hurts, we know that we can't go into that position because we're probably going to incite more damage than if we're actually going to get in progress before that. The other part too is it tells you kind of like, hey, be cautious. Like you said, like, oh, they can't really do a hurdle step and I'm doing this, it's all over the place. I'm probably not going to like just throw heavy weights on hand and be like, all right, do a step up. Right? We kind of have to figure that out a little bit. So that's all this is. The way we're going to do our next one is we're going through FMS this time, and then next time we'll probably go into the SFMA, and then we'll go into PRA assessments, and then we'll probably go back to our performance test. So we'll have the full spectrum of, all right, if our FMS is our entry-level screen, we take anybody general population, run them through that, it kicks us either into SFMA territory, like maybe we send them somebody that's a medical practitioner to do some stuff because they're pain and real bad dysfunction, or we can go into the performance testing because they look pretty good here, but now we can set a baseline for really where we want them to go, right? And he does a pretty cool, good example of like how some of this stuff plays into real life application with a basketball player in the beginning of the second part. Because this is the stuff that we've seen a couple times, right? Some athletes will come in and they're like this.
And again, so
we draw the graphics, some quick stuff like that.
They just keep shortening the level. Men are unable to perform one repetition with hands aligned with the chin, one good repetition. So basically, a guy gets a one if he can't do one push-up. I would think you're going to see a lot. If you're going to see ones, this is an area where you're going to see a lot of ones, realistically speaking. And again, they have a spinal extension clearing test. Basically, can somebody do a prone press up without getting some sort of extension related back pain? This is one that again, I think it's not a bad thing to do with everybody just to see because what I will tell you, and this was interesting, the reason I decided to do this, one was from seeing what Marco had sent me, two, a guy had posted on Twitter the other day that FMS is a total waste of time. I can just watch people work out and be able to tell you everything that I need to know. And it was a guy in his 20s, which I thought was even more miraculous, which is usual. I was at the Dunning-Kruger effect at its highest in terms of I'm so good at watching movement that I don't need to screen anybody. When I look at it, I think when you're in your 20s, you should be screening everybody so that you do actually get really good at watching movement. But I will give you the classic example of the big rock that we find. We had a basketball player. Well, that doesn't make yeah, I probably shouldn't say that on camera. But an NBA basketball player, really good NBA basketball player, all-star, who came in, he had torn his abdominal muscle. So he had a torn oblique, he had missed half the season. And so it was like, we got to evaluate this guy, figure out like what direction are we going to go, what are we going to do with him. So the PT was like, what are we going to do? I'm like, let's just FMS and see if anything pops up that makes us really stand up and take notice. So we start going through the process. He squats, he kills the squat, hurdle step, kills the hurdle step. We go to do the inline lunge, and he's like, I'm like, what's the matter? He's like, I can't do this. I'm like, well, why can't you do it? He goes, I got really bad turf toe. He said, and I just can't bend, like I can't get my foot up. He said, I'd have to do it like balancing on my toe. And you said, I can't do that. I said, you're really bad turf toe, huh? So the good thing was right away, I was like, let's just look at your feet. So we take the shoes off, we look at his feet. He doesn't have really bad turf toe. He has a fused big toe at this point. So he has a big toe that he has about 2 degrees of range of motion in his big toe, in flexion or extension. He played in the NBA this year. Like during that actual season, he was playing in the NBA. But the interesting thing, when he walked into the facility, he walked in like this. Now, I don't know the guy, right? So I assume that's the way that he walks. But now, after I find out about the fused big toe, I'm like, have you always walked with your feet turned out like that? He's like, no. Just since I hurt my toe, he said, I realized that, I can't roll over my big toe anymore, so now I walk like on the outsides of my feet with my toes turned out. He's like, really? I said, so, and I looked at him, I said, I know how you tore your oblique. And he's literally looking at me, he goes, so you're telling me that I tore my oblique because I have turf toe? I'm like, yep, I'm positive you tore your oblique because you have turf toe. And he's literally looking, he's like, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm like, it makes absolutely perfect sense, because he described this as I asked him, what happened to you? He said, I backed this guy in, I spun, and I felt something go in my stomach, and I was like, I tore out a muscle in my stomach. I said, all your spin's gone. I said, when you start working in external rotation all the time, you don't have any spin left. You've trenching all that tissue. And as a result, when you went to spin, this tissue that you've put under tension now for whatever, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months since you got the turf toe, just lets go and you get hurt. Now, the reason I say this is if we hadn't FMS'd him, there's absolutely zero chance that I come to this conclusion. I would never have known about it. It might have taken me 6 months of watching him do stuff to figure out the turf toe thing and to make all the pieces go together. Instead, the pieces go together in an hour. And we get a guy who, one, we get a long-term client at this point in time, and we get a guy who goes back the next year to be an NBA All-Star the next year, playing because, we've got a PT who's now working on big toe mobility. The number one thing for him every day was getting into PT and having his toe mobilized more than anything else that we were doing. Just getting to the point that he can move that toe. The reason I say this is because sometimes something is going to be like explode in front of you. Like it might be active straight leg raise asymmetry. It might be a shoulder asymmetry. It might be, like a ridiculous lack of core stability. Something might jump off the screen at you and make you think, wow, I didn't expect to see that. Okay? So this is why, to me, it's really, really important that you do this. And I'm just going to finish buzzing through the rest of these. But
okay, so kind of a cool example in terms of sometimes we need to look at the whole chain. Like when someone comes in and like, yeah, my knee hurts. And like, well, did you fall? Nope. Like, so there's something else going on. And then they're like, yeah, I've had chronic low back pain for like 5 years. It's like, okay, there's obviously some kind of compensatory strategies that we're dealing with that we need to address. That's where we can look at this and be like, yeah, I know, like Marissa, a good example. Yeah, where she's like, yeah, like when he's getting real lot of tension right here, and she goes to squat, and the first thing she does is this. Right? It's like, yeah, that's not how you do that. And that's kind of like where we'll start to break apart and figure out, well, why does she believe this is the strategy to go to? And we can start to piece together, like, well, is it because she can't stand on one leg, which, what's interesting is another good example of this is when we were assessing her today, and she's actually like a rock star on her left leg, and she's not left-footed. And when she goes to stand on her leg, the hard part was she stood on her left, and she started to get discomfort right here, right? It was usually an indication of the pelvis isn't like holding stable, so you're getting some SI joint kind of compression or gap or whatever you want to call it. And then when she goes to her right leg, she bends her knee a little bit, right? So she can't actually put force into that ground and get complete upright. So she's getting pain in here too, which is kind of compensatory strategy. So now she's probably shifting to her left leg a little bit more and doing a little bit like the way you were just talking about, almost like waddling, because I can't actually toe off and extend. The interesting part is like PRI, which is Postural Restoration Institute. Their whole stuff is like they bring everything back to the gait. So like if you can't breathe correctly or your vision's off or all stuff, you will see some compensatory strategy in the gait, which is kind of interesting, but I don't know, it's also a little bit out there sometimes in how much they rely so heavily on that one metric. Okay, so let's go over the FMS.